iPhone 12 Pro Max and iPhone 12 mini. Now that I have these in the studio, this completes Apple's 4-phone lineup for 2020. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my preliminary hardware thoughts on both of these phones. Again, the 12 Pro Max and then the 12 mini. Let's start with the 12 Pro Max. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is Apple's biggest phone ever. I'll be the one to say it. This thing feels like a small tablet than it does a large phone. There is just no way around it. This thing is absolutely gigantic. Now, my hands are kind of average size. I'm an average size person. And just doing everyday tasks with this thing, putting it in your pocket, making phone calls, just holding it up to take pictures. This is a large display. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch display. And I gotta say, it is really nice. Aside from the fact that it is absolutely huge, it's bright, it's sharp, it's a really good display. As you would expect, right? This is a brand new iPhone, of course it's gonna be good. I have the gold 12 Pro Max, and like I said in my previous video about these new iPhones, the rails get really dirty really quickly because of my oily digits. You might wanna put a case on it, you might wanna just constantly be cleaning it, but when you take it out of the box, it's really shiny, but again, it gets fingerprinted very quickly. I like the matte texture on the back. I wouldn't say that the back of the gold iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max are necessarily like really gold. It's more of like a creamy, milky color, but the rails are definitely gold. This is a good looking phone, make no mistake. And because of the boxy, flat edges, yes, the phone does stand up on its own, which is pretty cool to see. It's got the triple lens camera system, it's got the LiDAR scanner, and Apple saved all of the best camera features for the biggest iPhone. Now, because I just got these phones in the studio, I haven't really tested them out that much yet, but I do plan on doing a deep dive camera test where I'll be taking this thing out to the streets of New York City, taking photos, taking videos, so stay tuned for that. I did notice that the volume rocker on these new iPhones is a little bit clickier than the old iPhones, which to me is a good thing. If you're someone that had an iPhone 7 Plus or the 8 Plus or the XS Max, if you're someone that wants a big phone, you're gonna really like this iPhone 12 Pro Max. But for someone like me, I've wanted a smaller iPhone for years. This thing is just humongous, and some people really like that. But for me, the iPhone 12 mini is where it's at. This iPhone 12 mini is incredible. I absolutely love this thing for a number of reasons. As soon as I got this, I put my SIM card in it. So if you're wondering, Sam, what iPhone are you gonna be using this year? The iPhone 12 mini is my daily driver. Now, why do I like this thing so much? Personally, lately, I have been just so addicted to my phone. I'm always on it, whether it's watching Twitch, browsing TikTok, being on Twitter, hanging on Discord. I feel like I use my phone way too much, and I'm thinking that having a smaller phone will hopefully deter me from just endlessly doom scrolling. You know how it goes. I love the one-handed ability, like I can grip the phone top to bottom, whereas on the 12 Pro Max, that I can barely do that. The iPhone 12 mini feels like a true successor to the iPhone 5, 5S, and SE. I actually have one on the desk here. You can see the size differences. I've just wanted a smaller iPhone since Apple increased phone sizes when they did the 6 and 6 Plus a number of years ago. I've always thought, why do they keep going bigger and bigger? And finally, they went smaller. Now, this screen is a 5.4 inch, so it's not exactly a tiny display, but in terms of the footprint of the phone itself, this thing is so small. It looks hilarious when it's stacked up against the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's night and day. And I've been using this thing for, 3 or 4 hours, and even when I pick up my iPhone 11 Pro, that thing just feels so big to me now. I have the black iPhone 12 Pro, and it has the aluminum sides, which are matte, which I like better for sort of gripability. But I gotta say, the back glass, it's not as dark, it's not as black as I would have hoped. It almost looks like a, kind of like a off purple, if that makes any sense. I think Apple could have gone with a deeper black here, but can't really complain. The iPhone 12 has the same boxy, sort of flat edges as the rest of the iPhone 12s do, and I am here for it. Holding an iPhone with these rounded edges just feel less premium now when compared to these new iPhones with the flat edges. The one thing that I'm kind of worried about is battery life, because how big of a battery can you really fit inside this thing? It's hard to say on day one of use, but I plan on doing a full iPhone mini review, so I'll have my thoughts on battery and the rest of the phone in there. But yeah, even for the very short period of time that I've had my SIM card in this, just pulling it out of my pocket, just using this thing feels better immediately because of the smaller footprint, because of the smaller screen. It doesn't bother me that content isn't as big on this display. That's not really what I'm looking for anymore on a mobile device. Again, I want to get off my phone, and I think this thing is gonna help. Also, in terms of the hardware itself, this phone is really light. When I took it out of the box, I was surprised at how light it is. I mean, especially when you compare it to the gargantuan 12 Pro Max, this is a pretty light phone. I will say though, I already kind of miss having a telephoto lens. Here's hoping that the iPhone 13 or whatever next year's iPhone looks like, hopefully the entry-level iPhones have the triple camera system, but we'll see. I'm someone that zooms in. I like using the 2x camera. Just, there's certain situations where you just want to zoom in on something optically, and I'm gonna miss it on this phone. But yeah, I can go on and on about how much I like this thing because of the size. Again, I'm gonna be using this phone as my daily driver and do a proper deep dive review, so again, stay tuned for that, but I'm really happy this thing exists. All right, that's it. Just some quick thoughts on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and 12 mini. I'm going to be posting on social. My handle is Sam Sheffer on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, so follow in those places if you want to see sort of like daily content with this stuff. But until the next video, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.